Good evening. Thank you so much for always keeping it TV47. And it is time for TV47 Weekend Edition, to the point. But today we'll be doing things different, of course. It's been 3 days that have culminated to the burial of the General himself, General Francis Ogola, in his home Gia, Siaya County. We've been following up on this event, and we prepare packages that revolve around the events and what really shapes up and of course transpired during this session of his burial. And therefore that's basically what we'll be showing you this evening as we look forward to having a discussion. That is sometime next Sunday. Welcome on board. It's always good to have you. My name is Linda Alela. We have so much lined up for you. Here are the highlights. Tonight, a one-of-a-kind send-off in Gia for a one-of-a-kind member of the distinguished military forces of Kenya.
They were a great people to our nation. That is the kind of influence General Ogola had.
General Ogola laid to rest, showered by the accolades and anecdotes of his family, friends, community, and colleagues. Questions abound over the cause of the helicopter crash that took the lives of 10 officers, including General Ogola, during his funeral service.
And we have also had assassination of leaders from this region. So when such things happen, we are a bit suspicious, not because of anything, but we want to know the truth.
As well as the mystery of what really happened at Bomas, as bloggers come under fire for apparently lacking sensitivity in the manner they reported the news of the crash. Several feared dead after heavy rains over the weekend caused heavy damage across the country, with many areas reporting flooding and destruction of property. TV47 Weekend Edition begins right now. A sign language interpreter being Catherine Simaloy. And once again, my name is Linda Alela. We go straight to it. The body of the Chief of Defense Forces, General Francis Ogola, was on Sunday airlifted to Kisumu via Kisumu International Airport for the burial at his Ngia village in Alego, Usonga, Siaya County. Lennox Sengre now gives us a detailed report in relation to the General's final journey from Nairobi.
The final journey and procession of the four-star General Francis Ogola began at the Mashujaa Funeral Home at exactly 6:30 a.m. Sunday. Here, his juniors bid their last salute to their general for the final time. As heavy rains pounded the Nairobi CBD through Sunday morning, the general's entourage slowly made its way to the Embakasi garrison, where his remains were to be airlifted to Kisumu. The general's entourage reached the Embakasi garrison at exactly 7 a.m. via the Nairobi Expressway. And at exactly 7:30 a.m., the general remains departed the Embakasi garrison aboard the Kenya Air Force 222, bound for Kisumu International Airport. The body of the CDF arrived at Kisumu International Airport at around 7:40 a.m. ahead of the burial at his Ugenya village in Alego, Usonga, Siaya County. The body was received by the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua alongside top military officials and ICT Cabinet Secretary Eliud Owalo. Present were Ogola's wife and son. The parade honoring General Ogola was held at the airport before his body departed for his rural home by road. The convoy left Kisumu Airport at around 9:15 a.m., escorted by the military police. Locals lined the Kisumu Bondo Road to pay their last respects to the late General Ogola. The body of the late CDF arrived at Senator Obama Kogelo Primary School in Siaya County in a hearse, black Mercedes with a transparent windows, carrying the casket at exactly 11:13 and was received by a senior military officers. At exactly 2-hour burial service at Obama Kogelo Primary School in Ngia Village, the procession headed to Moore Village, where the general's body was interred according to his wishes.
The next we'll have is for His Excellency
Lennox Sengre reporting for TV47.
And General Francis Ogola was accorded a state funeral, the intermented ceremony and that provided for in the Defense Forces Instructions number 5 of 2020, which stipulates the burial of serving and retired heads of state, Deputy President, state officials and serving and retired general officers. George Maringa looks at the military pomp and color at the ceremony.
That the way the fallen general wanted and preferred to be buried was not a secret. Add his rank in the Kenya Defense Forces and you will know that the military did not come to play. Described as meticulous during his lifetime, order and his precision followed General Francis Ogola even to his last journey, the final salute. Following his tragic death on Thursday in a helicopter crash, news that spread grief far and wide, his colleague CDFs from across the continent and beyond arrived to bid farewell to one of their own, including the former CDF, General Robert Kiboshi. Samia Suluhu Hassan was represented by Deputy Prime Minister Dr. Doto Biteko. A few minutes past 11 a.m., the military band led the procession comprising of a guard of honor closely followed by the cortege bearing the remains of the fallen general, his family and close friends. The first destination, Barack Obama Kogelo Primary School. Step by step, the KDF officers drawn from the Army, Navy and Air Force wheeled the gun carriage bearing the casket draped in the Kenya national flag, which had started its journey from early morning in Nairobi. It would be remembered that the late general had a specific way that he wanted his last day to be conducted, 72 hours, that is 3 days after his death. The funeral service would later follow as tributes flowed from far and wide. Towards afternoon, the procession left Kogelo Primary School for the general's home at Moore Village, some 5 kilometers away. Only designated and select number of mourners would be allowed in the compound. Upon arrival, the military rites followed, starting with a reveille, a 1-minute silence followed by the last post. In his wishes, the general wanted his body to be extracted from the casket and to be wrapped in white clothing and buried. 6 gentlemen, including his son Joel Ogola and former ADC of President Mwai Kibaki, Colonel retired Kengangi, lowered the general's body wrapped in white. A 19-gun salute was accorded to the late general before the wreath-laying ceremony. The national anthem wound up the military rites in time, just as the general had wished. A final salute to a humble giant who treated everyone with high regard.
After dedicating 4 decades of his life for service of the country, we have returned to the final resting place of the decorated 4-star general, General Francis Omondi Ogola, a general of several firsts. George Maringa for TV47, Alego Songa Sub-County, Siaya County.
All right, and in a poignant ceremony in Ngia Village, Siaya County, Kenya, the nation bids farewell to General Francis Ogola, Chief of the Defense Forces, and 9 other fallen military officials. With solemn military rites and honors, the country pays tribute to his service and sacrifice in a dignified farewell, befitting their dedication to duty, as Ann Odida details.
The ceremony conducted today in Ngia Village, Siaya County, mirrored the proceedings witnessed during the memorial service at Ulinzi Sports Complex in Nairobi on Saturday in honor of the fallen gallant military officer, the Chief of the Defense Forces, General Francis Ogola, painting a picture of what it takes to bury a CDF, the highest-ranking career military official who receives interment rights similar to a head of state. And as the country marks the third and last day of mourning General Ogola alongside the 9 military officials who perished in the Elgeyo Marakwet chopper crash, only one flag, the presidential standard, was the only one standing tall as all the others flew at half-mast in honor of the fallen soldiers. The military officers were today dressed in full military livery as opposed to Saturday where all the military officers were dressed in their military fatigues, which according to the acting Chief of Defense Forces, Charles Kahariri, was done in memory of the Chief of Defense Forces who died in the line of duty.
Conducting this ceremony dressed in combat uniform. This is in honor of our general who died in the operation area conducting operational duties in the North Rift.
Kahariri, in his tribute to his predecessor, assured the president and the country at large that maintaining the security of the country will be his highest priority.
The military, the loss that we have felt, and once again assure His Excellency that as the General would have wanted, we continue to soldier on and ensure the security of this country.
Before the body of the CDF was buried, the military performed interment rites at the gravesite, which entailed 3 military rites, including the sounding of the reveille, which signaled the taking of a roll call. The congregation also observed a 1-minute silence as per the tradition when sending off a member of the military. The solemn gesture was followed by a traditional 19-gun salute, a rite that is only observed when burying a commander-in-chief of the armed forces or the chief of the defense forces. Finally, the last post was then played with an aim to signify that Ogola's inspection of his parade had come to a completion. Indeed, in Ngia Village, Siaya County, and across the nation, a hero is laid to rest, honored with the dignity and respect befitting his service and sacrifice. Ann Odida, TV47.
Thank you, Anne, for that. A seemingly agitated Joel Rabuku, the General Francis Ogola's son, bravely called out bloggers who he termed insensitive individuals in the manner in which they handled the sharing of information about the helicopter crash that claimed the lives of his father and 9 others by sharing videos of burning plane. Former military officers have termed the action as unprofessional, unethical, and shouldn't be encouraged in the future.
In his speech, speaking at his father, General Francis Ogola's burial ceremony,
the President
Joel Rabuku took issues with bloggers, calling them out on how they shared the untimely death of the Chief of Defense Forces. Rabuku asking bloggers to be sensitive when breaking news related to death.
People are so insensitive, so you broke the news. Umepewa EGH for breaking the news that the general is dead. Let us be sensitive, tafadhali.
Rabuku further narrating how unnamed bloggers shared video clips of a helicopter up in flames a few minutes after speaking to his mother, who had informed him that the helicopter the general was aboard had gone down.
Very useless bloggers. You're so quick to post pictures. I've been told by my mother my father's gone down. 10 minutes later, I am seeing a helicopter burning. What does that mean? Of course he's dead.
The late general's son maintaining the behavior by the bloggers was uncouth and should not be encouraged, with retired Brigadier Ahmed Mohammed terming the act as inhumane.
Bloggers watch mchezo and mention them by name.
We are very careful to ensure that we confirm fully something has happened, what has happened, and then get through the right media, send that note to the family. And mostly, we don't actually call the family. We will prefer sending an officer to pass this message to the family.
The former military man breaking down the standard procedures used by military in sharing tragic information to affected families.
For KDF and also for most of the government offices, when a senior person loses office, not only that, even when a junior person loses his life in the course of duty, the KDF is never in a hurry to announce that information until the next of kin are informed.
General Ogola was among the 10 officers who died in a helicopter crash on Thursday on the border between Elgeyo Marakwet and Uasin Gishu counties while touring the banditry-prone areas of the Rift Valley region. Mwige William, TV47.
14 minutes past the top of the hour. That story by Mwige William takes us for a quick short break as we come back with more.
Na safari hii katika Mfahamu Kiongozi tutakuletea viongozi aina mbalimbali.
Nikuwe na Nisani kama 10 na pia nikuwe menua minibus. Minibus nikoniwa.
Kushinda unaangalia simu ya mzee. Soma Biblia ama ingia kwa washroom ujisugue. Mpaka nimetoa hivi.
I don't know whether any of my children would want to get into the political field. Sijajua bado.
Kila Alhamisi saa 1:30 kuendelea.
Join us on a journey through the concrete jungles and rising skylines, where every beam, every nail tells a story of progress and vision.
In every aspect of life, you have to look at several dynamics.
From groundbreaking.
Nowadays with the tech, you can check on different websites or you check online and you can see some inspiration. So at least that one would be a direction already. I'll know like what kind of style you're going for.
To finishing touches, witness the dedication of the hard-working teams who bring these ambitious dreams to reality. The Realtor, Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m.
All right, welcome back to the broadcast and thank you for choosing to stay with us. And to more, barely 2 days after the KDF chopper carrying the late Chief of Defense Forces General Francis Ogola alongside the KDF officers crashed a Sintar along the West Pokot and Elgeyo Marakwet counties border. Suspected bandits are reported to have attacked the area near where the KDF helicopter crashed. This, as Elizabeth Atieno details.
Even before dust settles on the untimely and fatal demise of CDF boss General Francis Ogola, the daring bandits have launched an attack at Chesogon area near the KDF camp, which is just a few meters from the scene of the helicopter crash. A 30-minute gun battle was heard around 11 p.m. on Saturday, though no casualties have been reported. Ironically, the bandit raid happened with KDF officers still at the scene, trying to piece together information regarding the ill-fated chopper crash on Thursday afternoon.
Unfortunate ya kwamba hii mambo ya banditry imeleta shida, to an extent ya kwamba tumepoteza tu watu mashuhuri katika nchi yetu.
Speaking to TV47, Johnson Toroitich, a local, has confirmed that tension is high in the area and that bandits are hiding in the bush to attack road users crossing the West Pokot and Elgeyo Marakwet border. On Thursday, suspected bandits raided Kaben location in Elgeyo Marakwet County, where the chopper crashed, making their way with a known number of livestock and killing one person.
Sisi kama Kaben location tunataka ombi letu kuu ni kwamba amani irejee, tuishi na majirani zetu, watu wafanye kazi zao.
On Saturday, during the military honors and memorial service for the late general, his son, Joel Omondi, urged the Kenya Defence Forces to lay their boots on ground and restore peace and order in the North Rift.
Different days he hears his soldiers have been hit. He was actually mourning like he was mourning a child. And he'd go down to his knees and ask, God, what is happening here? Hard from his strength. Nahitaji kulima hii Al-Shabaab kabisa. Nahitaji kulima hii bandits kabisa. Which is what he was doing in the line of duty when he went down.
Banditry remains a thorny issue, piercing through the much-awaited peace in the troubled North Rift. Up until his last breath, the late General Francis Ogolla spent his last few hours visiting troops deployed in the North Rift under Operation Maliza Uhalifu and to inspect the ongoing school renovations works at Chesitet Primary School, Chepoton Primary School, Kisa Primary School, Sabilomi Primary School, and Cheptulel Boys High School, which happened to be his last destination before the aircraft crashed shortly after takeoff.
I'm proud of the achievements you made and welcome back home. You've done your bit and you've accomplished the mission for which you are sent. So karibuni sana nyumbani.
As the general fades away, he will be remembered for, among other things, the love for his family, humility and generosity towards people, and more so, his dedication to serve and secure the country. And now, only time will tell if the general's last mission, which was to bring peace in the North Rift, will be accomplished. Elizabeth Atieno, TV47, Nairobi.
Thanks, Liz. The late General Francis Ogolla has been termed by many as a selfless leader because of his resilience in streamlining the welfare of the defense forces in Kenya. The CS Defense Aide Duale says that Ogolla had an approachable and principled personality that created a conducive working environment for the army, as Ruga Ival tells us.
It got quite emotional in Siaya County during the burial ceremony of the late General Francis Ogolla's family, friends and leaders spoke highly of his character.
During this period, he swallowed a fish bone. It got lodged in his intestines and he was hospitalized for close to 2 months. He was my size. When I got out of third form and I went to see him in Armed Forces Memorial, he was my size and I was broken. And here he was, sneaking out of Forces Memorial with my mom to go to Alliance Francaise to take his French exams so that he doesn't disappoint the government of Kenya.
Ogolla has left a big gap in the defense forces, leaving a mark of substantial experience as he ensured Kenya is secure during his tenure. The Deputy Chief of Defense Forces, Charles Kahariri, had a lot of memories to share about his fallen boss.
He was a leader, he was a commander, and he was a mentor.
As the general would have wanted, we continue to soldier on and ensure the security of this country.
Residents of Nduru area dissected Ogolla's unadvertised community projects that symbolized his desire to giving back to the society, where they outlined a number of water and development projects Ogolla had aided in accomplishing.
The late was a contributor based on Matthew 6, verses 2 to 4, and I quote verse 3. But when you do charitable deed, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. That was the general.
The Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi and Aden Duale described the general as a person who cultivated a good working relationship with his colleagues, revealing that truly Kenya has lost a hero, pointing out that his performance attracted accolades internationally.
Ogolla alikuwa na kipawa
cha ujuzi wake kwa mambo ya kijeshi, na pia akawa na kipawa sana kwa mambo ya kuhusu diplomasia, na haya yote aliyatumia vizuri sana kuhudumia taifa letu na kupeana heshima kwa majeshi yetu. And let it go on record that the accolades that we have received as they convey condolences from all over the world is testimony to the integrity and professionalism of our defense forces.
We will leave the legacy and the dreams of General Ogola for the safety of our nation, be it in the air, land, and the sea.
Representing Tanzanian President Samia Suluhu, the Deputy Prime Minister of Tanzania, Dr. Doto Mashaka Biteko, remembered Ogola as a leader who always looked forward to nurturing healthy diplomatic relations.
Wanaungana na wewe kukupa pole nyingi kwa msiba mkubwa ulioupata, kwa kuwa umeondokewa na kiongozi mashuhuri, kiongozi ambaye bila shaka kwa maneno yaliyosemwa hapa ameandika kurasa nyingi sana zitakazosomwa na vizazi vinavyokuja.
However, William Ruto was faced with a difficult time in paying his last respect to the general. Dr. William Ruto emphasizing that if given another chance, Ogola would still be a good fit for him and the defense forces.
And I know for sure that I made the right decision. And if I had another chance to appoint him, I would appoint him again as the CDF of Kenya.
Ruga Evil, TV47.
General Francis Ogola was on Sunday laid to rest in his home in Siaya County, where his family penned a heartfelt tribute, describing him as a man of the people who had great vision about his country. The tributes came following his tragic death after being involved in a chopper crash in West Pokot, as Chichi Josephine tells us.
As the general was being laid to rest, his family paid touching tributes, highlighting their personal bond with him and revealing the scars left on their hearts.
He supplied over 100 desks on his own. He bought playing balls, uniforms for schools team.
Joy Raboko Ogola, the general's son, took to the microphone to pay tribute to his father, describing him as a man of vision.
People from all the counties on the way here, Kisumu, all the markets along the road, they're bidding farewell to the general. They didn't even know him, some of them, but they've lost a son of the land, and he was a great man.
General Ogola's daughter, Lona Ogola, eulogized her father as a humble man who made sacrifices to achieve great things in life. She fondly remembered her father as someone who constantly sought excellence, possessed great empathy, and was a highly effective leader and statesman.
He had such a big heart for this nation. In closing, I'll tell you of his love for Kenya and his loves that you haven't heard of before. He had a big love for his family. He took me to school. Every day he was in the country for all of my elementary school. He loved his family. Fathers, show up for your family because your presence makes a difference.
The Chief of Defense Forces, Francis Ogola's sister, Paris Onyango, mourned her brother as a loyal, committed perfectionist who was their mother's favorite child, further pointing out that the general was her closest sibling and that they would have hearty chats from time to time.
General was a special child in our family. In fact, our mother really loved him more than us. My brother is a kind man, loyal man, very dedicated, very committed to everything he does.
His brother Canon Hezekiah Oduor eulogized the general as a staunch Christian and a man who played a crucial role in the family, community, and the country at large.
General has left a very big gap in our family because he was taking care of our dad. He was also making sure that he sent something to the widows who are in his hands.
Chichi Josephine, TV47.
There is an echoing call for speedy investigations into the death of the several military officers, including General Francis Ogola, after a chopper crash on Thursday. And as the body of the late general was being buried at his home, that is in Gia village, political leaders have asked the government to conduct investigations within a period of 3 months, as Paul Kirobi tells us.
Pray for our armed forces, because I know most of them are also touched by the loss.
A high-ranking chief of defense forces and a master fighter pilot, a special skill owned by just a handful, the late General Ogola flew high indeed. His death has triggered more questions than answers. Key leaders in Kenya's political sphere are now calling for speedy investigation to ascertain what led to the chopper crash, killing several KDF officers, plus the general himself. Leaders drawn from the Azimio coalition want justice done to find out the main reason behind the chopper crash. Ogola's death, compared with other high-profile deaths of Nyanza leaders witnessed in the previous years.
The death was an accident, but even though it is an accident, in this region we have had many such accidents, and we have also had assassination of leaders from this region. So when such things happen, we are a bit suspicious, not because of anything, but we want to know the truth.
What Kenyans want, Mr. President, is simply to make it public, because then that will allay all these fears. And the matter of General Ogola goes beyond our sister Eileen and our beautiful kids. It's a national thing.
Among the key areas of investigations to the team are the flight data recorder, commonly referred to as the black box, that monitors the aircraft and cockpit crew. Nearly all modern planes have these devices, but not all helicopters do. However, some advanced helicopters may have similar systems that fulfill similar functions. These systems are often referred to as flight data monitoring (FDM) systems or flight data recorders in the context of helicopters. Siaya Governor James Orengo did not hesitate to emphasize on the need for speedy investigations in such a sensitive matter.
The first rule in investigations is that you don't rule anything out. If you want to carry a true investigation, don't leave anything out. So we want to be assured that nothing will be left out, so that the truth comes out. The truth comes out.
There shall never be again extrajudicial killings or political assassinations. There shall never be another occasion where we have bodies of Kenyans in River Yala.
There are security concerns which deserve an answer for the nation. And since an inquiry has already been formed, we look forward to a speedy investigations.
Keeping in mind that President William Ruto already confirmed the presence of a team of investigative agencies on the ground, the National Assembly is likely to also influence how the investigations should be conducted. General Francis Ogola was buried today at his rural home in Nginya, Siaya County. Paul Kirobi, TV47.
And Mr. Director tells me we have some more bills to pay, so we take a quick short break and then we come back with more.
Na safari hii katika Mfahamu Kiongozi tutakuletea viongozi aina mbalimbali.
Nikuwe na Nisani kama 10 na pia nikuwe menua minibus. Minibus niko niwa.
Kushinda unaangalia simu ya mzee. Soma Biblia ama ingia kwa washroom ujisugue. Mpaka nimetoa hivi.
I don't know whether any of my children would want to get into the political field. Sijajua bado.
Kila Alhamisi saa 1:30 kuendelea.
Join us on a journey through the concrete jungles and rising skylines, where every beam, every nail tells a story of progress and vision.
In every aspect of life, you have to look at several dynamics.
From groundbreaking.
Nowadays with the tech, you can check on different websites or you check online and you can see some inspiration. So at least that one would be a direction already. I'll know like what kind of style you're going for.
To finishing touches, witness the dedication of the hard-working teams who bring these ambitious dreams to reality. The Realtor, Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m.
And this is TV47 Weekend Edition. Thank you so much for choosing to stay with us. Heavy rains have continued being witnessed in many parts of the country, largely hindering movement due to flooded roads that pose a great risk to travelers. In Nairobi County, floods have been witnessed in most parts of the city, with one death being reported due to the heavy showers. Kenyans are now calling for urgent intervention measures to prevent further floods that are related or flood-related dangers. Our reporter Arnold Adidi tells us more.
For about 3 weeks now, the heavy rains being experienced across the country have paralyzed normal activities in many parts of the country. The capital, Nairobi, has not been spared. Early today, most roads within the city were swamped with the waters from the overnight rains, travelers trying their best to avoid flooded roads in fear of being swept by floods. However, a statement sent to newsrooms from the Nairobi County Governor's office has confirmed the death of one person and the presence of a search mission to find a missing child who is feared to have been swept away by floods in Kibra. Through its X account, the Kenya Urban Roads Authority, KURA, earlier today issued a warning to motorists using Lang'ata Road near the Wilson Airport, as well as the Raila Odinga Road, among many others, to watch out for floods which had engulfed the busy roads. In Turkana County, residents of Soweto area could not put up with the aftermath of heavy showers that lasted for over 5 hours today.
Mvua hapa imenyesha kuanzia saa 11 asubuhi mpaka saa 5. Madhara angalia ile imefanyika hapa, hata hii gari hapa ilikuwa imemezwa na maji imeleta shida, vile mnaona hivyo. Tunataka mambo kitu imeleta shida yote ni drainage system ndio iko very poor kabisa. Maji na mvua ikinyesha maji inajaa kwa maboma ya watu. Tunataka Ministry of Disaster Management ya county, Kenya Red Cross wako wapi wakuja wasaidia watu.
Hofu ya kuleta na maji kama ni maugonjwa, hiyo kolera itatushika na tuko na watoto wadogo.
A similar situation was observed in Machakos and Kajiado counties. Residents of Kinanie and Syokimau in Machakos County had difficulties accessing their homes, which are now surrounded by water. The Machakos County Governor, Wavinya Ndeti, has asked those in dangerous areas to immediately shift to safer places, promising aid to the affected families.
Huko kuna shida Kamulu, Mudhwani, Nzoiani, Syokimau 360. Disaster saa hii watu wamefungiwa kwa manyumba na maji. Tunajaribu kama county kufungulia hiyo maji itoke, na tumesema wale wamejenga karibu na mito wabomoe ukuta zao, ama sisi wenyewe tutakuja kubomoa, kwa sababu hakuna mtu akona ruhusa ya kujenga ukuta karibu na mto.
So far, about 32 deaths have been reported from the floods across the country, while 15 people were injured and more than 40,000 Kenyans displaced. According to the weatherman, these rains will be witnessed in many places, including counties within the western region, Kenya's coast, parts of the Rift Valley, as well as central Kenya. Arnold Adidi, TV47.
And a church service turned tragic after a motorboat capsized in Lake Baringo at around noon. The exact number of occupants of the boat is in doubt, with one account stating that out of the 19 occupants, 12 were rescued. 1 died and 6 is still missing, while another account states that the full number of occupants was 23, with 17 rescued, 1 confirmed dead and 6 still missing. Even so, rescue efforts at the lake have been hampered by strong waves, making it extremely difficult for boats to navigate. According to eyewitnesses, the youths who were from Revival Church, that is, they boarded the motorboat at Salabani heading to Kokwa Island for a youth church service, but moments later, the boat capsized in the middle of Lake Baringo when it faced strong waves. Baringo Police Commandant, that is Julius Kiragu, said that the boat was overloaded and could not manage to navigate through the strong tides at the lake.
We had an incident here happening at Lake Baringo where we had children from Salabani going to Kokwa for a church service or a church function, and their boat capsized in the middle of the lake due to the heavy tides and heavy winds that were experienced at the lake. On board there were 23 pupils or children who were heading to Olkokwa, and out of the 23, we were able to rescue about 17 of them, and those who've been found. And out of the 17, unfortunately, we lost 1 who succumbed due to the incident, and we're in the process of rescuing another 6, or in the search mission is still ongoing on. The biggest challenge we've had today at the Lake Baringo is the tides were high and the waters were not clear. So we have the Ghost Guards who are working with our rescue missions and here at Lake Baringo, so that to ensure that the bodies are retrieved within the shortest time possible.
And also still our officers are still inside the wreck. They are still trying to rescue the 6 who are remaining. We just hope that they are going to come out when they are still alive.
And now to sports, and Austin Odhiambo 30th minute goals, or Austin Odhiambo's 30th minute goal secured Gor Mahia's 1-0 victory against AFC Leopards in the Football Kenya Federation